I remember thinking about this the first time it hit me in 17 and 18, I think, is when, the Coach Aki's leaves and, you see a lot of movement happening. The boys are leaving and you're thinking, yo, a lot of the young guys are coming through, and they're playing well and you're thinking, it feels like the energy's busy changing, and I'm still young, but I feel like I'm one of the older guys.
Hey guys, Gordon Skosan here, and welcome to Skosan Unplugged. Obviously, also a special time in your career where you played quite a bit of your rugby. What were you most excited about? When you thought about like, okay, I'm joining the Lions now, but now it's going to be an actual full time. I'm on my way to the Lions. What were you most excited about?
Of course, I was most excited about learning. To be honest, I wanted to learn a lot. One thing that I do remember is we were doing this is now in preseason. I remember our defense coach JP Ferreira, who was busy doing a defensive breakdown about the games we played in the previous season, and I'm sitting there and I'm just soaking in the knowledge, like how he breaks down the game, etc., and what he sees and what we haven't done right and what we should do. So I was really excited to get back in that environment and learn. I learned so much, my time at the Lions. And I apply that, learnings to this day where I'm at the moment. And also the way that the Lions played, obviously we played in their team together and just the excitement it brings not just to obviously the fans, they see that, but we inspire each other, the players inspire each other. You at training sessions, you're like, yo, like it was such a fun time to be around because, when the guys were just expressing themselves, it was such a good um team to be, around expressing, your God-given talent and how for the most part, I felt like guys wanted to see each other succeed and do well, and obviously we were competing for positions, but it just felt like it was fun. It was competitive. It was really competitive. People obviously wouldn't know, but it was super competitive. With tough trainings, defending each other and having to attack against each other. Honestly, it was probably the funnest time I've had because I was also young, obviously, both of us being young in that time. And I thought learning a lot from how the guys manage the games and obviously like I said, I was a guy who played many positions, so I had to soak up and learn so many things, from different players, which I loved. And obviously, like I said, playing and the fans was, man, the fans was amazing, amazing. It was the best time to have played. If you any game we've played on Ellis Park, or even in other venues that we played in, it was amazing. The fans came out, in droves and came to watch and support the boys, and like they'll stay after the game so long and like want to interact with the players. And I loved it. Seeing how all the players interacted with the fans just gave me so much like comfort and wanting to be in that group.
I want to ask you something. You've been at a few pre-seasons under Cash. Like, do you have a pre-season story that you'd like to share? I can think of one.
You you
But I
you
want
go
I
ahead.
want
You go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead first. You go ahead
just
first,
so people
and
can
I'll
have a
tell.
perspective. You saying that we were competitive and we worked hard. Like, is there a
Yes.
story that you can tell me to make them understand like what it was like a Lions pre-season, what it was like when we were there?
Yo, I remember, coach. Yo, um, that's the toughest to this day. I've compared this the other day. I was telling this to some of my teammates I have today. I said to them, I said, guys, I've never done preseasons as hard as I've done it, 6, 7, 8 years ago. That was the toughest thing for me. Like I couldn't in my mind it didn't make sense like how my body would be able to take this load every day coming in having to do I remember the first time like listening to how Cash was breaking down the preseason. I remember the first 3 days it
Sure.
always started on a Wednesday or Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That's normally the first 3 days. And I remember you did the 3K, and then I remember Cash saying we're coming back again to do yo-yo test, and then we coming. I'm like, huh? Is this guy? Is this guy serious? Are we doing this? I'm sitting there thinking, I thought this is professional rugby. It's gonna be the best time of my life, and it just sounds like it's gonna be so tough.
Horrible.
And I remember we doing our yo-yo testing, we doing the thingy, and so now I don't know how's the training gonna be like. It's the first part of the testing is done, and we start the next week Monday. And we're doing those trainings where you do I don't know if you can remember that one session we would do 1.6 and then to a 1K and then to 800, then to 600, then to 400, then back from 400 all the way back there. Bruh,
It was bad.
that was like mentally thinking to myself, you have to go recover. I remember you telling me that. I remember me just coming there, you telling me, Salas, recover, me, bruh. Just recover. Get ready for tomorrow. We're gonna go again. I'm like, Coach, are you being serious? And you saying this, with this good energy. I'm like, nah, this bruh, I don't know what this guy is not right, man. And everybody been saying the same thing to me. And I'm thinking, yo, how am I gonna do this? The next day we come in again, we're doing how many 200 meters, Then
It was like 20 or 30, 200, but you break it up in like
Yes.
sets of 10. There's a time
Yeah,
constraint to it, but you have to get in with a certain time.
exactly.
Oh my
And you know
goodness,
how
it was
Cash was with us, he loved sprinters. He loved the
Yes.
quick guys. And he was always
hard.
like, I was very hard on us. You need to make this time. Salas, come on, Salas. And I remember, if you didn't have a good training, and he'll come to you. And he's, Salas, what's up? Hoe gaan het? How's your body? But, we need you. We'll need you, Salas. You need to work hard on this. And now I'm just thinking about this. I told this one guy, I told him, we would do sessions of 45 minutes without a rugby ball on a rugby field. And this man thought I was lying. I was like, bruh, you don't see a rugby ball in sight. You just only see cones, and you see Joe's Bucky standing there for the noise of the yo-yo testing or whatever we were doing. But you didn't see rugby balls until you see them in January. There's a tough life, man. Yeah.
Good times, brother. Like, obviously it was hectic, but good times. Is there, on top of that, is there any regrets? Would you go back? Or is Japan like your final destination? If if it's a tough question to answer, you can obviously you can obviously skip it. But like, is Japan the final destination?
Coach, at first I remember because I got to the Lions at a stage where obviously the Lions literally were in their resurgence, and there was a lot of good energy in that group and a lot of the guys. I mean, I'm sure you are still in touch with a lot of the other guys as well. I'm still in contact with a lot of the guys. I'm still playing with one of them over here in Japan. But I remember thinking about this. The first time it hit me in 17 and 18, I think, is when, the Coach Aki's leaves, and, you see a lot of movement happening. The boys are leaving, and you're thinking, yo, a lot of the young guys are coming through, and they're playing well, and you're thinking, it feels like the energy's busy changing, and I'm still young, but I feel like I'm one of the older guys, older statesmen, but I'm still young. So, you're going through that thinking, yo. And I remember initially leaving the Lions, I thought I knew I had to face something different and be in a different environment. And I had to start growing, a little bit different, see the game maybe a little bit differently. And I thought maybe there was a good idea to go. But I remember initially just getting to Japan, like instantly I was thinking to myself, I've just been there for so long. Like, that's all I know. The conversations, the lingo of the game, And I remember we would be in trainings. My first couple of weeks, I would still say, just out of the habit, saying Lions lingo, like, and then the guys would be like, what is this guy saying? And I'm obviously speaking a different language to them, the Japanese boys now, and they're like, what is this guy saying? But Cause to be honest, I love it here, man. We fell in love here in Japan.